Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Mariners franchise here on MLB The Show 23. And today's episode is a good one because it is the 2023 MLB Draft. We are finally time to select the newest Mariners in our organization. I did live stream the entire draft yesterday. If you missed it, I will have that in the description below. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This will be more of a recap of the draft that happened. Now, also, we did take a look at some of the prospects in this draft. I'm going through some of them quickly, but if you want to get to know some of these guys a little bit more, I recommend also checking out the draft scouting report episodes that I'll also link in the description. Now, one guy we didn't take a look at in the scouting report is the best prospect in this draft, Andrew McGill, a starting pitcher who's right-handed. And the reason I didn't take a look at him is because, well, there's no way he falls to our pick in the 20s. He should be the top prospect taken off the board. He is absolutely amazing. It's North Dakota State starting pitcher from Anchorage, Alaska. Very interesting story as well for Andrew McGill. So it's time to get started with the 2023 first-year MLB player draft. We have the 22nd pick, and we're going to get started with the number 1 overall pick. The Pittsburgh Pirates have it, and they don't go with the top prospect on most people's boards. They go with catcher Douglas Funk out of Florida. An interesting pick. MLB rank has him at 6. Definitely a surprise. They don't go the pitcher. They don't even go pitcher. They go catcher. He's a solid selection. He just may need a little bit more time, which with the number 1 pick, is that what you want to do. The second overall pick goes to the Washington Nationals, and they also don't pick pitcher. They take center fielder George Rush out of UCLA. So 2 guys going off the board. Rush, I think, is a better player overall than Funk, in my opinion. I think he has the highest upside potentially of this draft, but he only played in 5 games this past year due to a knee injury. You can see he's still injured. He's still recovering. Big gamble for the Nationals. We'll have to see if it pays off. The third overall pick is the Detroit Tigers, and they do go starting pitcher, but they go starting pitcher Corey Worth. So Andrew McGill does not go in the top 3. Worth was the second-ranked player on MLB's draft board out of Michigan State. He's a hometown kid, so the Tigers want to keep it close. And if it's not McGill, then it's Worth. This guy's a phenomenal pick. He should be a great pitcher for years to come. So those are the 3 picks in the MLB draft. Now, I'm not going to go through every single pick. I'll spend some time in the first round going through our division rivals pick as well. Is that the 4th pick, the Texas Rangers in our division take starting pitcher Javier Gomes. Now, he was MLB ranked 9th out of Florida State. Now, he also has a very high ceiling. He should be a good pitcher. I mean, 85 to 99 potential. That's a good pick. The 6th pick, the Athletics are on the clock. And with this selection, they pick Andrew McGill, starting pitcher out of North Dakota State. So arguably the best prospect in this draft in most people's eyes stays in our division. That's going to be so much fun to play in future years as Andrew McGill, the best prospect in this draft. The A's got an absolute steal here at pick 6, especially for a squad that is desperately trying to rebuild their farm system. We're going to go down to pick 11, where our rival Los Angeles Angels select starting pitcher Barney Stedman out of the Netherlands. Now, Stedman's a guy that we actually did scout 100%. I didn't throw him in a scouting report because I think our rank was way lower than what MLB had him at 12. So for that reason, I decided not to include him in an episode. I think he's a bit overrated, so I'm not complaining that the Angels might have taken a guy who's overrated, but still could be a decent pitcher, but definitely not a first-round pick in my opinion. With the 15th pick, the Chicago White Sox are on the clock, and they take starting pitcher Rob Meyer out of Australia. He's the first guy that we took a look at in a scouting report. We're going to see where all those guys land from those 2 episodes, and the first one goes here to the White Sox. Rob, or some people call him Bob, goes to Chicago. He's a flamethrower, but gets a lot of Ks, but I think he needs to work on some other parts of his game. With the 16th pick, the San Francisco Giants up next. They take starting pitcher John Perez out of Mississippi State. This is a very good selection. I think the Mariners were targeting him here at 22nd if he would have fallen, because that's exactly where they had him ranked, and MLB had him at 24. But he goes before that. College World Series champion last year, got Mississippi State back to the dance this year. He is a great pitcher. He should be a guy you can build some rotations around. He'll get strikeouts. He doesn't walk that many batters. Good pick here by the Giants. So now it's time for the Mariners selection at 22. We've only lost 2 guys off of our scouting profile. There's a couple of guys that they're still left, and the best guy on their draft rank is Douglas Kramer. He's a relief pitcher. The Mariners actually have him as the 2nd best prospect in the draft, and it looks like he has great stuff. He's going to be probably an A overall, but do you take a relief pitcher in the first round? That's such a question for debate. Now, if you don't go relief pitcher, there's a couple of starting pitchers that we took a look at, Morgan Hampton and Mickey Dow. And if you don't want to go the starting pitcher route, there's outfielder Bucky Gonzalez, there's Xavier Bauer, who they like later, as well as Ray Delary, who's got a great contact bat. But despite what trends might say not to do, we're going to do it. So with the 22nd pick, the Seattle Mariners are going to take relief pitcher Douglas Kramer out of Arkansas. His stuff just looks incredible. It's too good to pass up, in my opinion. Yes, there's some people who say don't take a relief pitcher in the first round. They don't pitch every day, and they usually only go an inning at a time. But this is a Mariners squad that is one of the best teams in baseball. They're going to try to be good for years to come, and I think Kramer's honestly a guy that next year, at the age of 22, could fit into a major league bullpen. So this is definitely a win-now move, and it gives a lefty into the organization, something the Mariners don't have a lot of currently at the major league level. 25th pick, the San Diego Padres go Bucky Gonzalez, the outfielder from Farragut High School in Knoxville, Tennessee. We spent some time looking at him, but just something doesn't click with me with Bucky Gonzalez. I think the most interesting part about him is the fact that one of his secondary positions is catcher. You don't see that very often, but 18-year-old, he's still going to have a lot of room to grow, but wasn't really clicking with Bucky Gonzalez when we saw him. The 28th pick, our last division round with the Houston Astros are on the clock, and they go starting pitcher Juan Carlos Saucedo out of Lincoln East High School in Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, Saucedo is a pretty interesting selection. One thing that stands out, though, is he opted out of his physical, so not much is known about his injury history, but he has very high upside at 18 years old. He has a lot of green on his scouting report. His strikeouts and walks and hits could use some work, but he's very good at controlling his pitches. He's got some break and velo, so he's got that three-headed monster that I like to look at in my starting pitchers. Now, we have a competitive balance round A pick here at 31, and, well, besides Bucky Gonzalez, nobody from aboard after our last selection went. So we still have those two starting pitchers, Morgan Hampton and Mickey Dow. Now, personally, I think I like Mickey Dow more than Morgan Hampton, but Hampton has a higher potential, so what do you go with here? Now, there's also Carlos Francisco, another starting pitcher that we like, so out of Florida International by way of Puerto Rico, so he's a guy you target, but Morgan Hampton, I don't know if his stuff is fully there, but he has arguably the best potential left. So with the 31st pick, the Mariners select Morgan Hampton, starting pitcher from Puerto Rico. It's just how the board fell. I mean, there was no position players really at this spot. It all came down to pitching, and, well, we go Morgan Hampton. 38th pick to end the competitive balance round A pick, the Athletic select relief pitcher Tim Swift, another guy that we took a look at in the second scouting report out of VCU. The former Maryland transfer is a good selection. However, we were not as high as him as some other MLB ranks, so they had him as high as 5th, and it seems like a lot of the teams in the league think he could be good, but wasn't worth the first round pick. With the 46th pick in round 2, the Miami Marlins, they go starting pitcher Ruben Monroe from the Netherlands. I thought he was a pretty decent pitcher, but in my opinion, he's a jack of all trades, master of none. He's going to give you the stamina, but he's not really great at anything, and potentially couldn't maybe just be like a back of the end rotation. So interesting pick. 51st, the Giants select Jeremy Perez, the relief pitcher from Horsham High School in Horsham, Pennsylvania. So they get both Perez brothers. Remember, they took John Perez in the first round. Here's his younger brother, Jamie Perez. I don't think he's as good as John. He also had offers to go to Mississippi State and follow his brother. I think he should go there, but instead it looks like they're both going to be going to San Francisco, so it's a very interesting story. Now we're back up on the clock here at 55, and, well, we had the debate last pick between Morgan Hampton and Mickey Dow. Now, we got Hampton. Dow was still there, so I think maybe we double dip here. I think we get both starting pitchers. So with the 55th pick in the first-year player draft, the Seattle Mariners select Mickey Dow, starting pitcher at a Carson High School in Los Angeles, California. Dow's a good story. I think he's more well-rounded already than Hampton, even though Hampton has the higher potential. Dow, whose parents are from Germany, and he was born in LA. So good to see Mickey Dow with the selection. 78th pick, the Reds select relief pitcher David Kinney out of UMass, another guy we took a look at. He's got a lot of blue, and I think could have been a late-round steal, so I think this is a very good pick here by the Cincinnati Reds to fill out their bullpen in the future. With the 86th pick, the Chicago Cubs are on the clock, and they select shortstop Xavier Bauer. This pick hurts. I was really targeting Bauer with our next selection. I almost took him over Mickey Dow. He's got great position flexibility. He's fast. His bat needs a lot of work, though. He's really raw, but the former Northwestern Wildcat has at least B potential. You just have to wait on it. With the 90th pick, the Chicago White Sox take starting pitcher Mario Osuna out of Venezuela. We highlighted him. We did not watch a game of him because he actually missed all of last year. So very interesting there. Was he worth the risk of injury as he even opted out of his physical? So another high risk, potentially high reward, but also a boom or bust kind of player in Mario Osuna here. So now with our 97th selection, we were on the board, and well, we only have one guy left that we looked at in our scouting report, and it's probably best case scenario because Ray Delary, the second baseman out of Rutgers, has a great contact bat here in the third round. And to me, this is a no-brainer. He's the last guy on our board, so we take Ray Delary with the 97th overall pick out of Rutgers. He's probably going to have C potential, but he's got a great contact bat, and I can see himself improving higher than his stock. So at this point, we're out of scouting report, guys. So we're kind of taking a shot in the dark with our remaining selections. So here in the fourth round, we're going to go with relief pitcher Brian Sanchez. I waited to the last minute to make this pick, and honestly, maybe didn't make the best selection, but oh well, we go with Brian Sanchez out of Venezuela. He went to Texas A&M for a year before going back to play in his native country. So Brian Sanchez, interesting story. Hopefully he's just somebody we can include. Remember, we also don't have to sign all of our draft picks, so if somebody turns out to be kind of a bust, I mean, there's really no harm done, as the later rounds are kind of a crapshoot anyway. In the fifth round, at pick 157, we take left fielder Ryan Brooks, as his contact bat could be relatively something at this point, out of Doral Academy High School in Doral, Florida. He had offers to go to South Florida, Central Florida, Florida Atlantic, Florida A&M, as along with another couple of schools out of state. He could still go off to college, but the 18-year-old at least gets drafted here in the fifth round. Now we have one more pick here in round 6, and we only had 2 guys left that we have scouted out of everybody, and they're both catchers, Johnny Diaz and Nelson Ring. And funny enough, they're both from Pennsylvania. One went to Pitt, one went to Penn State, so very interesting to see. They're both good at the same things, and well, Johnny Diaz is better at the things that they're both strong at, so it makes sense just to pick Johnny Diaz. So we go with the catcher out of Pitt here in round 6. Again, I mean, we only had 2 choices, so might not end up signing Diaz. He's probably not going to have the highest potential. He's very raw, but we only had 2 guys to choose from. That's going to do it for the 2023 first-year player draft. Let me know in the comments section below what you thought of our picks. In the coming weeks, we will see their developments and stuff like that, how good they really are. But first, we got to sign all these guys. Let me know, who do you think we missed out on? Do you think we had a good draft? Please let me know in the comments section below. Next episode, I think I'm also going to live stream again tomorrow if I can. It depends on when I get internet set up in my new place. But I do want to live stream the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game before we get on with the second half of the season. But hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.